How to find good help for your business. Let's talk about it. What's up, y'all? It's AJ Simmons. I appreciate y'all tuning in with me today. Today, let's talk about how do you find good help, good employees, good workers. How do you find that for your company? All right, so I have a few tips that I can kind of help you out with. I was able to retain good workers pretty well with my company. Most of my workers were on average, they stay with me on an average of about 4 years. So we have a good retention rate, and they all pretty good workers. I mean, obviously nobody can clean as well as I can, right? But for the most part, they can clean well enough to keep the customers quiet, and they show up. Okay, we don't take days off. That's their culture. Okay, so here's what I want to say about it. I think the first thing that you need to look at, if you find that every single person that you're having an interview with, or every person that you hire turns out not to be such a great worker, number one is look at where you're pulling from. Okay, where's your hiring pool coming from? So are you hiring just from family and friends? Are you just giving the first person that asks for a job? Are you just giving them a job, or are you actually holding interviews? Okay, so number one, if you know that every time that you hire one of your cousins that it turns out wrong, then maybe you shouldn't always just hire one of your cousins. Okay, if you're hiring from Craigslist and you see, okay, Craigslist is sending you bad people, then maybe you might go to another source. Okay, if you're doing Indeed and they're not sending you good people, then try a different source. Facebook and it's not working, try a different source. Okay, so wherever you're pulling your people from now, maybe you need to try another method of where you want to hire from. Okay, so that's the first thing. The next thing I will look at is, again, back to the interviews. Are you actually interviewing these people, or are you just giving people jobs because you need to hurry up and fill this position? Okay, always be hiring, always be taking applications, always be interviewing, because when you're interviewing, that way you'll already have an idea of who you want to hire once the time comes and you actually are hiring. Okay, so always be taking applications and then always be interviewing. I would say maybe interview every other week. Okay, at least twice a month. That way, when it is time for you to hire, when you do get a new contract and you need some people, you're not just desperate and taking the first person that you know on the job. You actually got some people to pull from, and then you can call them up and say, hey, you still interested in that position? Okay, so once the interview is complete, you just explain to them that you're kind of slow right now, but you like them, or you'll be in contact, whatever the case may be. Okay, whatever the situation may be at that time, but always keep a pool of people that you can pull from. So that's another thing. All right. And a third tip that I will recommend is also interview more people. Okay, if you interview 5 people and they all didn't do, they all suck, but you're just gonna choose between the best of the 5, then don't choose between the pick of the litter. Okay, throw the litter out and go look for the gems. Okay, so interview more people. Sometimes you got to find that diamond in the rough, and you'd be surprised. A lot of times we think that just because we can't pay a lot per hour, or that maybe just because it's cleaning toilets, that you're not going to find qualified candidates. But you'll be surprised. There are people out there who just need the money. They have bills that they need to pay. And then there's also people out there who might have day jobs, but they just need some good supplemental income. And the good, unique part about commercial cleaning is our work is very flexible. Okay, most of the time you're going to give these people keys. If you operate how I operate, you're going to give these people the keys. They're going to drive themselves to work, and you're not going to be heavily supervising them. You might inspect behind them maybe once a week, once a month, whatever the case may be, and that's it. But they get their freedom, and that freedom is very attractive a lot of times to people. So don't always stress about, oh, I can't pay them enough, so I don't know if people are going to take the job serious. Okay, they will take it as serious as you take it. Okay, so, and that's another thing that I always put out there when it comes to hiring family members. I recommend that you try to get some strangers in place first. Okay, because if you start hiring strangers from, obviously if you can find maybe a good 1 or 2 reliable family members to help you, that helps. Because sometimes you're going to run into situations where you need people to understand that you're growing, okay? And family can understand and sympathize with you a lot better than strangers can. However, once you get serious about hiring, I found that it's easier to hire strangers first, because strangers will take you more serious and look at your company as a real company. And then once you have those strangers in place and they're actually following your system, when you go back to hire your family members will see that, oh, he has a real business, she has a real company, they got real employees, you know what I mean? And then they'll take the job more serious. And it's not that it's a real company, a real or fake or anything like that, but it's just a perception. Some people need other people to believe in you before they do. It has nothing to do with how much they love you, whether they support you, anything. It just comes down to, that's just the way our brains are wired, okay? So they want to see somebody else believing in it before they actually believe in it, okay? So that's another tip I want to give you on hiring, all right? And then finally, you need to look at your training process, okay? Because a lot of times we like to blame the employees if they get complaints, so if their cleaning is not up to par, when in reality you probably should be looking at yourself, because you're the one that trained them, okay? You're the one that hired them, you're the one who trusted them, and you're the one who showed them how to do this job, okay? So it's on you if they're not doing the job right. So I always tell people a lot of times, first off, number one, remember this: always be slow to hire and quick to fire, okay? That's why I say always be interviewing, even if you don't have a job ready, you're hiring slow, okay? So you be slow to hire and then be quick to fire. Because when somebody show you who they are, you believe them. As soon as they do a no call, no show, goodbye, okay? And the moment that they you look like they're still up to something crazy, goodbye, okay? So be quick to fire. Now, when it comes to performance, though, I try to be a little bit more lenient on performance issues, because a lot of times that's a reflection of how well I trained them, okay? And so a lot of times people will say, well, I only want to hire people who are experienced, so that way I don't have to train them so, too detailed. But I always recommend it is actually better to find somebody without experience, as long as they're motivated to learn, okay, if they're coachable. Because a lot of times people with experience will try to bring over tactics and skills that they learned from other companies to your company, when in reality your company might have a more efficient way of doing things, but this person won't let go of the old tricks that they learned at that old company, so they're not able to use the new efficient way that you're trying to teach them, okay? So a lot of times you don't need people with experience. What you really need is just somebody who's teachable and coachable, eager to learn, that's ready to show up every day, okay? So don't be don't caught up into if they have experience or not. Now, when it comes to training, again, like I said, take accountability. Put them. How long are you training them? Okay. If it's a 5-day-a-week account, you probably should be in that account with them for them first 5 days, that whole first week. Okay. You start off helping them a lot, then you go to helping them just halfway, and then you go down to not helping them at all for those last 2 days of the week. Okay. So you got to make sure that you're actually putting them through a whole training process, and not just giving them a run through and then throwing them in and assuming that they're going to know what to do just because you know what to do. You may have been cleaning for 5 years or 20 years, okay? This person may have lied in their interview and thought that commercial cleaning was just like cleaning their house, so they assumed that they had experience when they didn't, okay? So you don't know, all right? So make sure that you're actually training these people properly. And then the other thing is, remember this: just because you can clean great doesn't always mean that you can train well, all right? So what that means is, if you have another person on your team who's more capable of training than you are, then maybe you can put that person in charge of the training, okay? Have that person do all of the training for you, and then you just pay that person for that training. Because sometimes, just like for myself, for example, I have the ability to understand things sometimes just enough for me to get it, but not enough for me to be able to explain it to somebody else. Okay, and a lot of times I also find that I used to assume a lot. I would assume that people, would use what I thought was common sense to figure certain things out, when in reality, it might not have been common sense for other people. Okay, so if you find that you might be like that, where you're not able to articulate the things that you want to be able to do it in order for other people to understand it, then maybe you might not need to be the one that was training. So in my case, I let my wife do the training, because she was better at explaining things to people and simplifying it for them, versus me. I would kind of leave certain things out and assume that people would get it. And then when it came back and the customer complained, and then I would come back and say, I thought that you would have known that. I'm sorry, that's my fault. And so it's like, yes, I do take accountability and realize it's my fault, but at the end of the day, if I was able to train them properly from the beginning, we could have avoided that mistake altogether. All right. So hopefully these tips were able to help you. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and also join us in the Clean Biz Network. All right. $97 down, $25 a month. Yes, I took it back down. All right, we're gonna keep it there. All right, so www.cleanbiznetwork.com. I changed the site around. Make sure y'all check out the new site. All right, I revamped it to look a little bit more fresh now. You can see everything that we have to offer a lot more clear with the lead generation program if you need customers, the starter kits, the CleanBiz Network, and our bidding calculator, which is actually still free. And you might want to join. If you have not joined calculatedclean.com, you might want to get up there like ASAP, because I'm about to go ahead and put the payment up there. All right now it's 100% free. So those who got in early to test it out for me, I appreciate you, and everybody has loved it so far. But soon I'm about to put a pay gate up there. So once I put that pay gate up there, it's going to be a charge on that website. So you might want to get up there like now. All right. The only people that will still get access to that website for free after I put the payment up there is the people who joined the CleanBiz Network private mastermind. All right. So thank y'all for watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting. This is AJ Simmons. Everybody eats. I appreciate you.
What's going on? This is Calvin from Miami, Florida. I wanted to do this video for anybody that's considering joining the CleanBiz Network with Mr. AJ Simmons. I joined the group about 3 months ago. And I joined the group because I read a book by Robert Kiyosaki. Excuse me, it's like very hot right now. But I joined the group because I read a book by Robert Kiyosaki that talked about owning your own business and setting up systems that pay you even if you're not there. And so I found out about cleaning franchises, and I wanted to learn more about them. So I started YouTubing different videos. I stumbled upon Mr. AJ Simmons, and I was blown away. You know, he was genuine. He wasn't trying to sell me anything. He wasn't trying to win my trust by showing off his fancy cars or his jewelry or flashing money. He was just a genuine guy that was sharing his experiences joining a commercial cleaning franchise. And so I joined the group 3 months ago, and I've been able to talk directly with Mr. AJ Simmons. If I have a question or if I want to know something, all I have to do is just write it in the Facebook group or comment and just tag AJ in it. And really, I really don't have to tag AJ because he's so active in the group that he'll just see you post something and he'll just comment on it. He'll like it and he'll just chime into the conversation. So I really like that aspect of the group, that AJ is available and he'll definitely get back to you ASAP. Another thing I like is that AJ will, if you need like some type of like one-on-one walkthrough, you know, if you have a 911 situation, you can inbox AJ and he'll give you a number that you can call him directly or text him directly, and he'll get back to you at his earliest convenience. And so that is another bonus. I haven't started or brought into my commercial franchise yet because AJ recommended that you try going independent first and just see how that works for you. And then if it doesn't work, then you can buy into a franchise. So that's what I am saving my money up for and getting prepared to do now, is to start interviewing with different franchises and just making that decision on which franchise I'm going to join. I've also made good connections inside of the group. I met a guy who lives not too far from me. I'm in Miami and he's in Fort Lauderdale, so it's like a 30-minute drive. So we were able to link up and we text and we talk from time to time. So the group is just really like a family, and whatever question you need, you know, if you're cleaning like a building or you have an account and you're wondering what type of product should you use, you can just ask the question and people will shoot you answers who have experience. If you have issues with dealing with a client, there's so many, well-informed individuals that have experience with dealing with customers that can help you. If you're trying to get out of your franchise, there's so many people that have done it in the group that can help you. And I'm satisfied with it. And I think that anybody that's serious about joining a franchise or maybe going independent and starting their own commercial cleaning company or residential cleaning company, that this group will definitely benefit you. It'll definitely be worth the investment, just to have a resource of people who are business owners across the country who are doing the same thing you're doing and feeding their families and also feeding the families of others. So This is Calvin, and I recommend, if you're serious about starting your commercial cleaning business or residential cleaning business, and here's another thing, like, they're also insurance agents, you know, lawn maintenance businesses, all different type of businesses that are in the group. So if you're just an entrepreneur and you just want to be around other like-minded individuals, I think this is a great place for you to be. And so my name is Calvin, I'm from Miami, and if you're gonna join the group, I look forward to seeing you inside, and you'll definitely benefit from it. You have my word, you'll definitely benefit from it. Talk to you guys later.